Two Truths and a Lie, social media edition. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. I am a marketing strategist, and this is Kai, who's a business coach. Hello. It's been a while since we've been live. So if you're watching us on one of our other channels, we actually are going live and moved to CEO now, but we have a great show for you today, and it starts with a game. Like all those are the best when we start with a game. So have you played this game before, Kai, the Two Truths and a Lie? Okay, awesome. So we're going to show you guys. Actually, let me give a couple seconds because I know we're going live on a bunch of channels. So hopefully we'll have a couple people pop in. But we have 3 statements and you get to tell us which one you think is the lie. So out of these 2 truths and a lie, you spot the lie. So you're going to tell us, is it number 1, number 2, or number 3? And so, Kai, do you want to just read them off really quickly here and while we get people in? Because we have people who just tell us in the comments which one you think is the lie.
Even if you're watching the replay.
Yes, do let us know
what you think.
Yes.
So number 1, I don't have time to create social media posts. Number 2, lots of followers equals a healthy business. And number 3, content ideas are endless.
Oh, I'm just curious what people would say. Like Kai said, though, if you're watching the replay, play along anyway. So comment in the chat if you think the lie is number 1, number 2, or number 3.
Yeah.
So while they're figuring that out, Kai, obviously we've been let's see if I can get us back to the screen here. Okay. So if you are commenting number 1, number 2, number 3, we're talking all about social media in this month. Actually, we have a whole theme about social media. So but the basis of what you guys have to know about us is that we are not social media people.
No.
So we don't love social media. I don't prefer. I'll browse it at night and I'll look through, but I don't want my whole day to be, succumb to the abyss of the of social media. So, Kai, do you want to kind of give us a little bit of a background of why we even are doing Two Truths and a Lie today?
Well, I think first of all, the statement that we're not social media people, which I think is hilarious. So we always think of this as like, when we do social media, we do it for people who hate social media. Like that's who we work for, right? And it's funny because everybody goes to Tessa for social media all the time. And you are going to go to our profiles and you're going to see that we don't have like 1 million followers, not even 10,000 followers. And yet Tessa can help accounts grow and things like that. And so it's funny because we don't actually like it, but we do this as a part of
I know it's a necessary evil in my head. No, I mean, it's very effective, but I think that we spend a lot of time doing it for other people. That's probably part of the reason why we don't love doing it ourselves too, because we're always thinking about everybody else's social media and their strategies. But I do think that it's not about loving it though. I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to love social media to really make good content that's excellent. But I'm going to go back so we can look at these 2 truths and a lie, or 2 truths and a lie, and see which is the real one and talk through each one of these. So, yay.
If we hadn't like planned this show ahead of time, what would have been your first reaction as to which is the lie?
Oh, so this is tricky. I would say 3 was the lie initially. I would say 3. How about you?
I would think that 1 is the lie. And I think that comes from that coaching thought, right? Of like when somebody says, I don't have time to create social media posts, like you always have time to do it for your business, right? And so do we want to kind of go through it? And then as we go through it, tell them which one is the lie and which one is the truth?
Yes, let's do that.
Let's do that. Okay, so everyone has had ample amount of time to think about which one is the truth and which one is a lie.
Yes.
Number 1.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, let's start with number 1. I don't have time to create social media posts. Now, I said, if I were looking at these 3, that would be the one I would pick as the lie. And in reality, that's actually True.
It's true. You
Yeah.
don't have time to create social media posts.
Yeah. And here's the thing is, and Tessa and I have talked about this. If you haven't seen the past few shows where we've been teaching you guys how to create content with less time, like how we do it, we haven't really gone deep dived into any of them, but we've really gone through and showed you what we do. And this is how we do it for our clients. So keep that in mind. This is not just like, hey, this is a great idea. This is what we tell our clients they should be doing. So free advice, just saying, you can go watch the shows and figure it out.
Yes, a lot of money to tell them that.
Yeah. And so just think about this. When you say, I don't have time to create social media posts, now the lie in that is when you tell yourself that. But it's actually true because nobody really has time to just live on social media. And the problem is that it's the way you're creating your posts. So you're going off of, okay, I have to make a viral video. I have to use this trending audio every day. I have to create these new videos. And so what happens is you might have watched one of our shows and you maybe took away from the fact that you should have a theme. So then for 1 month, you're doing social media as your theme, right? But every time you show up, you're creating a new video like, oh, this would be fun. And it's all within the same theme, but you are constantly creating it from scratch. Nobody has time for that. Not a single person. Do you know why you don't have time for that? Because you should be running your business, right?
Selling, doing income producing activities, figuring out how to build relationships. Yes. And in its most basic, the time you spend on social media is not necessarily, well, I will go into the next one on that, but it's not necessarily directly giving you income. So you have to be very careful about the time you're spending on social media. Be very strategic. Have a plan. Have a plan.
So let me just say one more thing about number one, and then we'll move on to number two, because they have some of the same variables in them. But in number one, I don't have time to create social media. Like we said, that is true. That's not where you should be spending your time. As a business strategist and coach, I will tell you, you should not be spending all of your time on social media. The reason we spend so much time, aside from recreating these videos every single day, right? So that's one of the problems. But the other problem is that you don't actually understand what the strategy is. Now, hear me out. People call it a social media strategy, and there is a social media strategy, but there is a big picture strategy that everybody should have for their business, right? And so you should have this big picture strategy, and then your social media strategy is just a tactic, right? You showing up on social media is a part of that big strategy. And that is where people get this very confused, because we think, like, if we go back to the cards, and this is where it kind of comes together, number two, right? It says lots of followers equals a healthy business. This is false. Okay.
False.
False all the way. So I know somebody who, I know them personally. So it's not like one of those, like they said, she said, like I actually know this person personally, and she has 600 followers and she makes 20K a month in her business. 600 followers. Okay. I want you to wrap your mind around that. Okay. Now I also know people who have, and we know them personally, we've worked for them, who have tens of thousands of followers and they aren't making money.
Hundreds of thousands.
Oh, sorry, yeah, hundreds of thousands.
I mean, for me, I've seen that, they're not real followers. They're not really, they don't care about what it is that's being posted. So it's not about how many you have, it's about how legitimate that relationship is between you, how real the connection is, and how much they want what you have. How much are you speaking their language?
Yeah. Plus, and we're going back to where 1 and 2 kind of are on the same line, is that there's not a strategy in place. So you are just posting to post. And I used to do this myself. You can go back and look at my ugly feed. Totally fine. But you will see. So I was that person. I was creating the new posts all the time. That's number one. And then number two is I was just creating. So I want to be known for something. So I'm going to post all these things about this one area, right? Like business coaching. Now, first of all, business coaching is huge and broad, and you can talk about anything under business coaching.
Same thing with marketing. We have lots of topics.
Exactly. And that's part of the problem. But the real problem was I didn't have a strategy, like a business strategy, not a marketing strategy, a business strategy. And because I didn't have the business strategy, my marketing strategy was kind of all over the place. It was so reliant on social media that I didn't have the time, because all of like that meant if I was spending all this time creating new things, creating new content, trying to get it out there, then that was taking away from the actual money maker in my business, which was the coaching.
Yes.
Right. And it's because I didn't understand the strategy. Now, if you have a good marketing strategy, you should not be spending no more than 30 minutes a day on your actual social media, like actual.
I love this. It's 30 minutes a day. So how many times, I don't know how you guys can let us know in the chat how much time you spend on social media, but I have a hard stop for myself. It's like, I can do this in less time I should, because it is taking too much time. And the big thing I'm sure that people are thinking in their heads, like, how on earth do you do that? I can't even create a post in 30 minutes. And that's the beauty of what we are going to tell you about at the end of this, is how to do that. We have a special masterclass for you guys that will show you how you can do a lot of content with a lot less time. A lot. But the big picture though is that, when you have good content, it follows and all of it aligns and leads to the right place where you want people to go. And it's clear that they want to go there because you're creating content that is relevant to them. You can spend less time doing social media. You can have a smaller amount of followers that actually care about what you're posting. And then you actually see the money side of it, the conversion, the monetization. Even if you don't see the monetization yet, because you're not in a place where you're taking payments, maybe you're building your audience, you see the growth of the followers who are engaging. So that's the cool part. So yes, lots of followers equals a healthy business is false. So that is not true.
Yeah.
All right. That's the lie.
Just one more thing to dispel on that one is a lot of people think that social media is the be all end all. And we say this all the time. If you've ever watched any of our shows, anything like that, we will tell you all the time, go and look at our social media. Tessa, I had to remind her this the other day. I think we have a clip of it that we need to put on somewhere for you guys to watch. But this was like a real reality check for us. We were having a meeting and we were talking about, all these people are coming to us. They want social media. And then that's kind of where this show came from, right? Is like, we started really talking about that. And really at the end of that conversation, what we were talking about is, Tessa has built her business for 3 decades before social media was around and even after, and is still standing, is still making money, still getting clients in, right? It's the same thing for me. I've been here for probably in this for about 7 years now, and way less than 3 decades, but 7 years. And in all that time, all of my clients, the people who have paid me money, have never come from my social media. Not once. And a part of it is that in the beginning, before I met Tessa, I didn't understand how to use it as a strategy. And now I do, now that I work with her. And not, for me, it was the whole strategy. Like a lot of you, right? We go in and we are just like, we're all in, we're going to do this. And then you're exhausted and then you stop because it's just too much. But the reality is that you don't have to spend a ton of time on social media to help it be a part of your business. And one of the things, Tessa, I think you wanted to talk about for number 2 is that for most of us, now we've talked about this before, so I'm not going to dive into it, but we've talked about inbound versus outbound marketing. Now, just a quick refresher, inbound is where people stumble across you, right? So you've got these things like they come and they see your website, or they happen to find you on social media, not because you did an ad, or they went to a podcast and they, you directed them there, but they just happened to find you. Maybe somebody shared your post. Maybe you were in the feed somehow, whatever that looks like. That is an inbound marketing strategy. And for many of us, our social media is really an inbound marketing strategy. It's a way to legitimize our business, because people, you know, we know now that when they see our names, they're going to go over to our social media account to see if we're a real person.
Social proof, for sure.
It's more like social proof than it is a part of an actual funnel strategy. So I want you guys to remember that. Now, if it is a funnel strategy, you still don't need to spend a lot of time there. But I just want you to remember, what is the role that social media plays in your business? And do you even know? Because a lot of people, this is the role that they think social media plays in their business. It's where I'm going to get all of my leads to make my money.
Well, and it can, but if you think about, each post is seen by only 4% of your audience. So if you're banking on the fact that they're going to see a series and every single thing that you've ever posted, you're way off. They're not. They're going to see maybe one post here and then a post down here, because you were engaging with people and you may have even liked something that they had. So the problem is that people think they're already consuming everything and they're at the, beck and call. They're those followers are there for them, but they're not. So you're creating content that continually repeats and repeats and repeats the same things. You want to tell them, here, this is what I do. Because if you only say it once, it's most likely they don't even know what you do. Like our own team member didn't know what we did. And she was like, oh, that's what you guys do. That's how you make your money. You have to repeat it. Even if somebody is right there with you, they still might not understand. So I think that's a big part of what we need to think about when we are showing, well, there we get back. Followers, you can make sure that you're engaging with them, that you're getting that content out to them, and it's your inbound. You hope people stumble across it and find they love what you're doing. You just have to have that strategy. And we're going to talk to you guys more about that. Yeah. But the next one, and I have to say, ironically, I had a web design company for a long time, just from a LinkedIn profile only. I had a web design company with not even a website. So you don't have to have any of these things. And maybe that's something that a lot of people are like, oh no, you have to have social media. We didn't, and we don't plan to. We use an ad strategy for most of what we do, and our social media is our inbound marketing. Yeah. So, but number 3 is my favorite, because this would be the lie to me, because I have people tell me all the time, they're like, Tessa, what should I post? What should I post about my business? What should I post if I don't have a product or app? What should I post, for my service business? I can't think of anything to post. So I have to say, content ideas are endless. And I only say this after meeting Kai and understanding really this big picture of everything that we're supposed to be creating. I already knew how to create lots of content. I was doing it for a lot of businesses. I just didn't realize what I was doing until Kai's like, oh, that's a strategy. Yeah. This is how we break it down. So you can create what we talked about, the themes, and then you can have topics within those themes. So, for us with social media, we can talk about all kinds of things in that social media kind of umbrella. We can talk about, creating reels, or how to, what content, how to use powerful messaging, how to find your target audience. All of those are topics underneath this bigger picture umbrella theme. And so once you do that, and then you break it down and look at your target audience and their pain points and everything, then it just all becomes clear. And I know we have, trying to keep this short, we're attempting to, but we do have a masterclass that we're teaching. I will put the link in the chat for you guys, but it's movetoceo.com/power. You can come, it's an hour and a half, and we're going to give you our best. No, it's an hour. Are we doing an hour? It's an hour. See, we crammed it even because we don't want to keep you guys too long. It's an hour, and we crammed all our best ideas into it, so that you can see how you can create endless ideas from your content. So you can figure out how to make all of this happen fast, right, Kai?
Yes. And so, you'll learn how to brainstorm, create, and multiply your content with ease. You will learn how to use powerful messaging to attract the right people, which is very important. If you don't have a strategy, I hope that you at least walk away with that. And then you will also learn how to post with purpose. and you can finally ditch the, the post and pray method, which is what I used to use in the beginning of my business. It
I'm
doesn't
all
work.
for praying that your content,
Yeah,
you can
pray,
pray,
do
but
it.
just
That's
don't
not
rely
the
on that as a
strategy.
strategy.
Yeah, that's a part of the strategy.
Right.
That's not the strategy. Okay. And so, it's our power posting masterclass. And, I just want to go back to number 3. When you do this power posting masterclass, the content ideas you will find are endless. And there is a second part and a third part to our masterclass. And we've made it short and it's affordable because we understand that, we're in this kind of like up and down time. But here's the thing is there should not be an excuse as to why you don't work on your business and really master it, because we believe that, most of our audience, the people that we love to serve and who watch us and come to our shows, they are good people who deserve to have a really great business. They are good people who need to leave their mark behind, which is why we are so invested in creating things that people can come to. Doesn't mean that we don't have higher price items. Okay. It just means that we always focus and make sure that we have both, because we want to serve people where they're at. And so really, if you are frustrated and you don't know what to post and you're like, I'm so tired of social media, I don't want to be on it anymore, then this class is for you.
Yeah, this class can turn things around for you. And honestly, we've had people that have been in our program or moved to CEO program doing the same work. And they literally, and I will play one of the testimonials for you guys. We'll put it up on social media too. But she's like, it is so easy. Can you just show our bonus? Like just barely tease it. You do get.
She's gonna make me go find it.
I know, right? The actual, and here, wait, no, I'm gonna let her come back because we're repurposing this content on Instagram. That's why I'm leaving it in the stacked. So this is the bonus, and this is the sheet. I have used these kind of cheat sheets in my desk for years, and I told Kai, it would be so awesome if we had a cheat sheet for social media, so you could just turn to it and be like, oh, I need a CTA. Here's a bunch. I need to know what to put my post, how to structure my post, how to, brainstorm my topics. It has everything in it. That is the best bonus item you guys could have, because literally the testimonial from Mary, she's like, oh, I was able to go back and look at this, and it was so easy to create my content. Out of her mouth, it was so easy to create my content.
And I think one of the best things is that on there, it's everything. It's the whole strategy. It's not like the big picture strategy, but anything that you could possibly need for social media, we have this overlying strategy. We've got your core triggers, how to create powerful messaging. And then we have this, which is your waterfall, your content waterfall, right? And the content waterfall is just like it sounds. It's like the Niagara Falls of ideas for your content. Right. And so that's really what you would walk away with and what you'll be learning in all of this, because nobody wants to just post on social media to like talk to nobody.
Right. For fun. Right. I mean, I hear that all the time. Like, it sounds like crickets out there. I'm posting tons of content for like 2 people and one's my mom. Yeah. so this is the key to getting your audience growth, which we have a whole segment that we go into in our bigger workshop. This little masterclass is kind of a little ice cream taste. It's not the whole thing. And that is intentional. It's intentional, because if you are serious and you want to take this to the next level, we do have a workshop that is 6 hours total, or like 5 hours total, literally doing these things in your business. If you do the work if you do the masterclass and you decide, yes, I want to do the workshop, we'll just apply that over to that so that you can get the full thing. But we don't want someone who's just dabbling, because that investing that much time in your business is probably not going to happen. Honestly, we want this to be a success for you, and you have to be invested. You have to say, I want to change things. I want my social media to be easier. I want to make it so that it's converting and that my audience is really being served. And that's, and Kai didn't really go into this, and I know we have to finish up here so we don't drag on too much for you guys. But Kai had a really interesting experience about why we're offering it this way, why we want to make sure we have affordable packages for everyone. Can you just tell? I know it's hard. I think this is important.
This is like cruel, Tessa.
This is really important to the strategy behind Move to CEO. You guys know that we started with just wanting to do women's program, but it's really touched both of us that, yes. So our calling is to help more people, to serve more people. So Kai, can you explain that? I'm going to actually put you on the top so I can see you better.
So I was at my daughter's soccer practice, a while back. And while I was at soccer practice, we were all, getting back in our cars. We're finished and we're about to leave. And one of the parents, was struggling to get their car started. Right. And in that moment, I asked, hey, can I help you, jumpstart your car? And, he happened to have like one of those little jumper cables that's attached to a battery. So he didn't need my help. But, what I really felt that just came on me when I was watching this was like, what if this is a parent who has their own business and they can't even afford to buy a new battery? And it brought me back to the days where I couldn't even afford to buy groceries. Right. I couldn't afford to buy my kids' shoes. And it's like, and in that time, I remember selling my 401k so that I could pay for these high ticket programs so that I could feel like I knew what I was doing in my business. Right. And they were worth the investment. Don't get me wrong. But wouldn't it have been amazing to be able to have gone to a program or get the help that I needed for, how much money I was spending coffee instead for the month, right? Like that is something that we're so dedicated to that oftentimes we're like, this program is worth so much. Like when we do a one-on-one strategy and we fly out to see someone, that's anywhere from 10 to 20 grand to sit with us, to do these 3 days with us and go through a huge strategy. But that isn't where most people are at in their business. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that small businesses, if you make it to 5 years, you're doing really well. And you're probably about 50% of the people who started off in year one.
Even less.
And by year 10, it's not even guaranteed that you're going to be able to keep going. Like how depressing is that? And these are the small businesses that we want to see grow, because I would love to, see, mom and pops gas station, mom and pops grocery stores, mom and pops everything surrounding your neighborhoods versus always these huge corporations, always these conglomerates. And no foo-foo on them or anything. Like people are doing big business, good for them. But it doesn't mean that the small businesses shouldn't thrive as well. And that is something we're so dedicated to. When I saw him and that just came on me, I was like, Tessa, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know if we do it for free. I don't know how, but we need to start serving these people. We knew from the beginning that that is what we were called to do. And so we have been figuring out, like, how do we serve people like this, especially when we can make this much more money on this? Right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's what we've been called to do. Yeah. And I think that is going to resonate with some people that really need our help and understand that, that's our style, is that we pray over, our clients. Obviously you don't have to pray with us, and some people don't. I was shy. I couldn't do it before, but, but that's what we want to do, and just serve. And so when you are taking a look at the program, obviously go check out the workshop, sign up soon, because it's literally next week. So it is next week. And then we're not even sure if we're going to, we will have to charge for it. Our normal price.
I always charge. That's the thing, is I am a true believer, and Tessa will tell you guys, like, whenever we do a program like Tessa, that's too cheap. That's too cheap. So
guys always like, nope.
No, because sometimes you have to make it hurt. Like, how many of you have signed up for a webinar, a masterclass, anything, and it was free, and you didn't go, or you went, you wrote some notes down, and then it just stayed in that book? Right. There are not a lot of people who take action. And this is like less than $50. Yeah. So it doesn't even, literally a cup of coffee, if you had coffee every day for a month, like, it's not a lot of money, but that's why we're so committed. But I'm sorry.
No, if it's free, you're not going to take it seriously.
When it comes to your business, you have to decide to actually invest and have the faith to step out to do those things. Now, if you need free, I'm all about that.
Well,
Small
message
Business
us if
Bureau
you,
Association, very
yeah.
helpful. And that's why we do these shows, because then you're getting the content that you need, you're understanding. And we do go into strategy too. So it's not like we're like, okay, let's save this secret for later. Like we try to share as much as we can with you all. So if that is like, you're just in that space, I used to be in that space. Like all I did was consume social media. The problem is that there are so many great influencers. And a lot of us, when we're starting out, is what we don't understand is that all of these ideas that they have are simply tactics, a part of a bigger strategy. Yes. So unless you know the bigger strategy, you're going to do all of them and wonder why none of them worked.
Right, because they're not tied. They're not cohesive or intertwined at all. So I'm so excited to see you guys at the workshop. Again, I'm going to put it in the chat for y'all. And if you, again, space is limited, so sign up as soon as possible. It is next week. And we'll be here every Thursday with new content for you. So if you haven't done anything else today, click the subscribe button so at least you know you're going to get really good information. Now, if you're watching us on one of our old channels, if you're over on Momentum Studio, definitely come follow us on Move to CEO. Every channel is just Move to CEO. You can follow us anywhere, just Move, MOVETO CEO, and that's where we are. So we'd love to see you guys, have you come join us live so we can be interactive. We love to answer questions in the chat. We love to be present with you and even give shout outs. So please definitely let us know if you're catching the replay, and we'll see you guys all next week. Have a blessed, very blessed week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.